posted one link in the chat box. So you can go to that and you can start giving the answers. Once we will finish it, so we will continue with the next one. So till others may join. You can start giving the answers. Your responses will be recorded over here. Give the responses fast. A lot of the things need to be covered still. Whether the link is visible to all of you and accessible. I'm repasting the link, the same link. So those who have joined late, so you can open the Google form by Google login and you can continue with the giving answers. received the 5 responses. So this will be as a revision to your string that we have completed in the end of the morning session. L1 responses received. How many of you guys joined? I hope you are 16. Okay, so out of 16, 11 responses received. 13 now, 14. Okay, let it be. Remaining two, just complete it, giving the responses. Let me share the screen for this question. I hope this is visible to you. Considering the first question, so all of the above is the correct answer. Correct statement using C. A string is a group of characters enclosed by double quotes. This is a true. If a string is defined with double quotes, null is automatically added at the end. That is also true. Size of a string is without counting null character at the end. Okay, so that is also true. So for that purpose, the overall all of the above is correct. Next question. What is the format specifier that you use to print a string or character array in C? Printf or scanf. So always remember that %C is used for character, and for printing the string you are going to use %S. So for that purpose it is a correct answer. %S is the correct one. Next question. Here the program is asked for giving you the output. So here you having one array named as ARY, and you have not mentioned the size, but in the double quotation you have written the discovery channel, and by using the percentages you are printing the ARY. So this is one methodology. You can directly use the %S in the printf, and you can give the name of the array. So whatever the entire string available with that array will be get printed on your output screen. This is one methodology. Okay, alternate way, you can use the while loop, and you can put while not equals to null character, that is a backslash and 0 put into the single quotation. So that condition you can use, and you can repeatedly execute the loop with the iterations, and that also will print the same thing. Okay, these are the two ways. You just remember these two ways. This is the first way, the current program, and the second using a loop. Next is this one. So here, if you closely observe this particular program, here you have defined the character array str having the size 25. Here you have taken the input. Okay, scanf %str. Here you are given the input South Africa. But here, while giving you input, so here you have put the blank in the south space Africa. So that space will be detected while input, and the further Africa that will be discarded. So for that purpose, the correct answer is south. As this is within the range, even the South Africa is within the range, but when you take the input, make the precaution that don't use a blank spaces over there. Otherwise, your string will not be get read out completely. So this is a minor mistake, but that can lead to a blunder mistake in programming. Okay, so for that purpose, I have covered this particular program for your test. So remember, while giving the string in this scanf, use a proper input format. So correct answer is south. Next program here, the correct output is none of above. What is the wrong with this particular? Can anyone able to tell me? Why G globe 0 is not? Can anyone
Show is
answer that?
not there.
For every letter there are commas, apostrophes.
That is not the issue. So
Y0 is not there.
every character must be written in the single quotation, separated by comma. No issues. Okay. One thing is missing out. What is that?
There is +0.
Yes, that is a null character. You must end the string. Here you should be missing out in the single quotation backslash and followed by 0. So that is a termination. So this string cannot be terminated. Compiler treat as non-terminating string. So for that purpose, here the compiler will not print you the output. Okay, so this is the case with here. And the next variety, here the second way, that using the loop, here we are printing the same thing. So just now I told you the correct answer is here Andaman. So just now I told you the two ways of printing the string. The first way is this one here in the program. Here we are printing the using %s and the name of array. This is one method. Okay, the printf %s and ARY, the name of array. So whatever the entire string in that array will be printed. And the second way, by printing a loop. So here you can use the for loop also, but generally we can use the while loop also. While str of I, string of I, always I will be starting from 0 up to it will be end of the string. How the end of string will be calculated? The end of the string will be calculated not equals to termination. So this condition is most important in the loop. Okay. So until and unless this entire string will not completed, so it is going on printing all the characters present over that string. So the correct option is Andaman. So just hold a minute. I will share one more link to you. Actually name change over here. So these are the questions on particularly string library functions. So try to solve these. If you can start giving the answers for the questions. Okay, I am resending the link so that new participants can get the access over there. So you can click on the link. So 2-3 members joined late. So they can access this chat link. So give the so your responses are being recorded. 3 responses received so far. Five responses. Eight responses recorded. Eleven responses received so far. Still 5 responses removed. 12. Okay, we have received the 14 responses. I will just share the screen for the questions. Just hold a minute. So here the first question asks, choose the correct C statement about the string function. Okay, so here strlen, so that will return the 3 because the 3 characters are there. This is correct one. The next we have written in the small case ABC, and we have written the function strupr, that is return the capital letter ABC. Again in the reverse strlwr, that will return the small a bc. Okay, so this all the 3 statements are correct. For that purpose, correct answer is all the above. Next, choose the correct C statement about the string function. So here again the all the above is the correct one. str reverse abcd. Okay, that returns reverse of that. str compare abc bcd. Okay, so when there is a difference by the character, usually in the characters we are using, so it will generate the negative number. If it is a number, so it will generate the positive number. So when the string are matching, then the result will be 0. Remember this thing. Okay. So for that purpose, all the above is the correct one. Next is what is the output of the program. So here we are having the string str1 declared as James, followed by string 2 we have declared it as a Bond, and here we are using the strcat. So the syntax is correct one, strcat destination comma str1. So by this first printf statement, so we are printing the string 2, so by percentage s. So for that purpose, Bond will be printed first, and after that sorry, here it will be printed Bond, and here the target string will be likewise. Here we have written the target str2 will now, after the concatenation, it will be likewise Bond and followed by James. So Bond James will be printed first, and by the second printf, so we are printing the string 1. String 1 is your James, so that will be printed after that. So this one is the correct answer. Next, here the simple logic of array that we have applied over here in this program. So Humpty is the string we have given, and what we require, so 2. So this is the index. Always remember that when we have the array, so we must find out as the index and in the square bracket, and we need to follow the character. So H is 0th character, U is the first character, and M is the second character. So here what is going to be print? Second character. So for that purpose, M is going to be printed. So this is for your kind knowledge. Okay, and the last question here, the output will be for this particular. I think here I have not added the answer key, but the answer is here. I will add up here. Might be most of you answer missed out. Just consider here answer is first 10. Why that is answer? Because here string 1 is first, character 2 is empty. We have taken str2, that we have taken as an empty array. Str copy, and here str2 is target now, and str1. So what's going to be print? First by the str1, str2 after the copy again having the first. So for that purpose, it will have first. After that, we are using the command. Just hold a minute. Printf %d str1 not equals to str2. Okay. So even though we are having the 2 strings, so here the point to be noted over there. Here, just I want to tell you. Just hold a minute. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen here. Okay. So here you are having str1. Okay. And what is that string? String is first. Okay. We are doing, and initially what we have done, we have declared str1 as first, and we have created an empty string, that is str2. No values has been assigned. So what will happen when we do the copy? Okay. When we do the copy, the contents will be copied here. The contents will be copied here from this to this. But the point to be remember, the memory location address will be different. Okay. So the location addresses for str1 and str2 will be different. So for the purpose, whatever the program statement we have in this particularly, that statement I will put just paste over here. So str1 not equals to str2, because even though we do the copy to the values, okay, but here we are comparing str1 and str2. str1 is always locating to a different location, str2 is always locating to a different location. Okay, for that purpose, it will generate the result value as equals to 1, because this condition is true. str1 not equals to str2. Understood? And let me reback share to your next one. And the next that is given here, str compare str1 comma str2. Okay, the two strings compare. Both the strings are equal. str1 is first, str2 is first. So for that purpose, this str compare will generate the result equals to 0. Just now we have seen the two problems related to the str compare. So when we have the what you can say, the two numbers, so in that case the result will be generated in the positive, and if we have the characters string, so it will be generated negative number. So it will be 0 only if the comparison matches with the exact value. Okay, either it's the character number or a character. This is all about your strings. Let me share a new thing. So in continuation with the previous topic, so we have remained with the linear search. So I will just share the content just for your knowledge. Okay, just I will put the start to this content. So this is a linear search, how that can be performed in the sorted array. So sorted array, all the elements are placed in a sorted manner. Okay. Suppose 57 is the element that you want to search. These all elements are stored in this sequential manner with the location starting from A of 0 to A of 9. 10 elements are there. So what will happen? The element at the A of 0 is compared with the search element 57. If the data is not found, so it will go to the next location sequentially. Now A of 1 consider, that is 2, compare with the 57. Okay, so again the data is not found. So it will go to the next memory location sequentially. Sequentially it is going on processing. Now A of 2 value 3 compare with the search element value 57 doesn't match. So again it will go to the next memory location. A of 3. A of 3. Okay, so 9 again not matching with the 57. Then sequentially it will go to the next memory location, A of 4. Now 11 is compared with the 57. that is also not matching. Then next compare A of 5, that is 13. 13 is compared with now 57. Again, it doesn't find the match. Next, it will move to the A of 6. 17 compared with the 57. Next, 25 from A of 7 compared with the 57. It doesn't match. Now, it will increase the memory location. Every time the memory location increase, here A of 8 find the match. Suitable match 57 is matching with the 57. So here the searching will be successful. Means every time starting from 0th location, it is going to search in entire array until and unless the valid element, the search element is going to found. If the search element is not found in that array, so it will give you the message the search element is not found in array. Okay, for that purpose you need to write the printf statement over that. So this is the logic for the linear search in the sorted array. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Let me start with one more unsorted one.
Hello,
Sir,
sir, your voice is getting distorted.
sir,
What? Yes.
sir, your voice, sir.
Hello.
Sir,
Yes,
trouble
you are
is your
not
voice.
audible.
Some troubles happen in your
Yes.
voice, sir. Full of noise.
Yes, yes.
Not clearly
Hello?
hear your voice. I have not clearly
Your voice is breaking. Hello.
I haven't clearly hear your
Hello.
voice.
Your voice is breaking. You can put your message in chat
No,
box.
sir, his voice is not breaking. Your voice is breaking, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
What is your question?
your voice is breaking, sir.
My voice is breaking. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me check. Okay. Let me check the internet connection. I will start with my mobile data rather than Wi-Fi. Okay. So this is for unsorted array, linear search in unsorted array. So only the difference over here is, so the numbers are arranged in the sorted order, and here the numbers are sorted, not sorted. So that are not following any ascending or descending order. That is only the case with the sorted and unsorted array. So search element will be found at A of 4. So this location will be given to you as an output. Sometimes you may call this as a fifth location. Okay. Or if you want the index value, so you can print. So the value present at A of 4 location. Likewise, you can use any term. So this is what about the linear search. Now we will have the program for the linear search. Let me change. Okay. Just check, this is a program for the linear search. So I will compile here, I will show the output first and then I will discuss the things. Compiling. Error 0, warning 0 present over here. I will debug the program. Here the first thing that is going to be asked, enter the number of elements in array. Say for example, I have written 5, enter. So now it is going to ask, enter the 5 numbers. 10, enter, 20, enter, 30, 40, 50. Okay, enter the number to search. Say for example, I want to search whether the 30 is present into the array or not. So for that purpose, I will put the search element as 30. I will press enter now. So it will give me the location. 30 is present at location 3. Location 1, 10, location 2, 20, location 3, 30. In the alternate way, you can print whatever the name of array and inside the square bracket, you can print the index value. Okay, that is also possible way. You can print or you can print directly the location number. So I will do one more time run to this particular program with the another input. Enter the number of elements 5. Let's go for the unsorted one. 5 numbers 50, 10, 20, 40, 30. I want to search 30. 30 is present at location 5. So this is unsorted array. Previously it is sorted one. Sequentially we have 10, 20, 30, 40 in ascending order. So this is unsorted array. So I will do one more time. So number of elements in array 5. So I have taken 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I want to search now 90 present over here. So 90 is not present in array. So it has started checking from A of 0 to A of 4. All the elements have been checked. No element present over here. For that purpose, it is showing you the message 90 is not present in an array. This is what we are expecting over here. Okay, now let's come to the program, how the logic works over here. So rather being showing here, the same thing available in the PDF file, I will share that PDF so it will be clearly visible to all of you and it will be good to me for explanation. The same program already have been provided to you. Okay, this is a program for linear search. Here, what is the logic applied over here? The main logic applied here, we are going to start the element search from 0th position to its own position value sequentially or linearly. Sequentially, one by one location will be incremented and checked, where it found the necessary element match, that location will be returned back. So here the header files declaration, comment declaration, after that main function starting. So here you can have the any number of size declaration. Likewise here array is defined for the size of 100 elements maximum you can enter into the array. Okay, next one element that we variable we have used search. Next is C is used for counter and is used for the number. So here the first printf message will be printed on your screen, enter the number of elements. So you are entering 5. So means that 5 is assigned to the number. Okay. So here the number will be 5. number equals to 5. Next, printf, this message will be appear, enter percentage D numbers. So number, you have the 5. So for this percentage D, it is going to print the 5. Enter 5 numbers. So that will be printed over here. So percentage D is replaced by this particular number. Okay. So it will print the message likewise. And for printing the 5 numbers, what you will require? One variable, counter variable. So for the loop purpose, we are using it. So we have initialized c is equals to 0. Likewise, we take usually I in the loops. So here I have taken this c is equals to 0, starting from 0th index. So condition is applied over here, c less than number, means one value less than that. So 100 elements are there, so it can continue up to 99. Okay. And here, what is given here? Number value is 5. For that purpose, in this case, number value will be 5. So for that purpose, C will be worked out from the value as 0 to which value? It will be operate up to 4. So every time, whatever the numbers we are having, so those numbers will be accessed over here. Your voice is sorry, still voice is breaking.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Scanf here and array of C means whatever the value starting with the 0th location. So whatever you are entering, so that will be stored sequentially. The first value, say for example, you have entered the 10. So that will be stored where? So that will be stored into the array of, means here it will be array of 0. It will be entering the value. The first value, say for example, I have entered 10. So that will be stored into array of 0. Next iteration, what will happen? C will increase. Now C will become C equals to now 1 after the incrementation. So after the incrementation, again it will check the condition, for loop condition, 1 less than 4. Okay, sorry, 1 less than 5, the condition becomes true. Again it execute this statement. So remember here, as this is a single statement, so there is not necessary of a curly bracket. Scanf is associated as a for loop statement, single statement. Okay, no curly brackets were given here. So after the incrementation, so whatever the new value that is you are entering, say for example, I have entered the 20. So this 20 will be assigned to array of 1. After that, again, next C is going to be increased. C is now 2. So after the C is 2, again condition checks 2 less than number. The number is, condition is satisfied. So for that purpose, again it will enter whatever the third value you are taking. So suppose I have entered the 3. So 30 will be stored into array of 2. Next time again, now C becomes 3. Condition satisfied. 3 less than 5. Condition is true. For that purpose, again it will ask for the next value to be input. Next I have entered the 40. So which will be stored into array of 3.
Hello, sir.
Clear? Yes?
Sir, your voice, again it is getting distorted.
Yes, yes. Okay. Now clear?
Yes, sir.
So later on, when we increase now C equals to 4. So again the condition satisfied. C is 4, number is 5. 4 is less than 5. Condition becomes true. For that purpose, again it will ask for enter the value. So 50, the new value I have entered, so that will be stored into array of 4. Okay. So after that, when we increase C equals to 5, so in that case, condition will become false. Okay. So condition will become false, and for that purpose, the loop will stop here. and the next statement that is going to be executed over here. So from here, so it will ask enter the number to search. So whatever the number you want to search, that you want to enter. Say for example, for the previous case, I have entered the 30. So 30 as a search element. Okay. Now what is the search value? So it will be now 30. So this 30 will be given to the search. Now we are applying checking the all array elements. So for checking all the elements, again we are using the for loop, starting from 0 up to less than the number. Understood why this first for loop is used and why the second for loop is used? First for loop is for getting the input into the array, and the second for loop is for checking whether the number is present in that array or not. How we are checking now? Here inside the for loop, for each iteration, C value is 0. So every time it is going to check. Array of C is equals to search. This condition will be checked out. Okay. So here, how it will be printed? Just check it. Array of C. Initially, array of C. C value is what? Initially, C value is 0. For that purpose, array of 0. Okay. What is the array of 0 value? It is 10 equals to 10, which is equals to search. Search element is what? 30. Whether it is true? No. So it is false. False. For that purpose, it is not entering into the if statement. Again, it will go for the incrementation. C is equals to now 1. For that purpose, it is again checking for loop condition. C less than number. Number is 5. 1 less than 5 condition true. It will enter into the loop. Okay. Once it will enter into the loop, now it is checking array of C. Now array of C is what? Array of 1. So which is equals to array of 1 is 20. 20 equals to 30. Again, this is false. Again, this condition not satisfied. So for that purpose, it will go to the incrementation of C. C is equals to now 2. So once the C is equals to 2, what will happen? Check the condition 2 less than the number. Condition is true. Once the condition is true, so again enter into the loop. Here array of C. Here array of C current value is 2. I will write array of 2 equals to, what is the array of 2 value? 30, which is equals to 30. Here the condition is true. So condition is true. For that purpose, what will happen? It will enter into this particular if. It will enter into this if. Up till now, for array of 0, array of 1 not matching, for that purpose condition is false for that purpose. So here it is not accepting the if condition. So for that purpose, now it is accepting. So it will enter into the if statement block. It will print %d. For this %d, the search will be printed. Search is what? The element. So that is 30. 30 is present at location, and for this %d, what we are printing? The current value of C plus 1. Okay, at location. So I want to print the location. Location number should be ahead, third location. Even though it is at the second one, index value is 2, so location is third. All of you getting? So index value is 0, location is first. Index value 1, location is second. Index value 3, location is index value 2, location is 3. So likewise, you want to print likewise for that purpose. Now current value of C is 2. I want to print 3. For that purpose, I have written C plus 1. So here it will stop immediately as we have found the search element. So for that purpose, it will use the break statement. So what the break will do? Break will cause the exit from the loop. So it will come out of the loop and it will execute the next statement written after the loop. So what is written? If C is the number, what is C? C is equals to 2 is equals to number is 5. It is not. So in that case, you should print the not present in the array, but this is false in our case. For that purpose, this statement will not be executed at all, and we will get the execution with the next statement, get ch. Okay, so you can try the same program for the another set of input. So we don't have that much time, so you can try yourself. So already I have provided this material on the Moodle. So any doubt still you can ask. So in this way, whenever the condition becomes true, so only the logic applied over here is, so here you are using the for loop and if. So basically condition, every element of array. So every element starting from C starting element is 0. 0 is search with the search element as shown you in the animation. So every location will be searched, and wherever it presents, the location number will be get printed. And for accessing all the elements of the loop, so we are using this for loop. Sequentially, we need to go the incrementation. Incrementation will be done by this, and the condition will be written likewise. C 0 to less than a number. Okay, and the first for loop is used for entering the values into the array. So in this way, we can have use it. These are the sample run. So already been given to you. So already been shown to you also. You can do that. Clear? Next, this is a homework to all of you. You can do. I will tell you the logic. So this is a binary search. What will happen? Every time, say for example, you have the 10 number and you want to search the number. One thing you should be remain. So linear search can be applied on unsorted as well as sorted. But for binary search, compulsory it has to apply on the sorted array. So here you need to apply the sorting mechanism first, and after that you can do the binary search. So here the logic is that you will require a sorted array, first thing. Second thing, whatever the total number of elements will be there, so you will find the middle of that. Okay, 10 numbers are there. Suppose you have 0 to 9 over there, and I want to search the 7. So what I will do, I will find the middle as 5. So I will compare middle with the search element. So search element 7 is greater than the 5. So for that purpose, it will be searched into the right direction. If the search element, say for example, I want to search the 3. So 3 is less than 5. So for that purpose, it will going to search in the left direction. So this direction will be checked in each iteration. And finally, every time the middle is calculated with the remaining inputs, and according to that, you are going to check originally. So this is logic for that. And here you can find the middle. So middle can be find out by minimum initially 0 plus maximum by 2. So by this formula, we can calculate the middle every time. And maximum is n minus 1. So this is a logic. So you can have the look for this program and you can submit as an assignment to the binary search. So these two will cover up your entire searching technique, linear searching and binary searching. Okay. So one more most important problem that were asked most of your technical interviews. So write a program for bubble sort, or the same sorting mechanism is used in your searching also in case of binary search. So before proceeding further, you need to rearrange the numbers in the sorted array, and then only it will be work. So for that binary search operation, so you will require the sorting mechanism. Sorting means you need to decide the order, either in the descending order or either in the ascending order. So particular fixed order you need to maintain. That is what the sorting technique will do. And here we have the lots of sorting techniques. So that you are going to study in the data structure. You have the bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort, quick sort, merge sort, heap sort. Lots of sorting techniques are there. Radix sort. So out of that, so the most popular and that is in the most of the technical interviews, write the program on bubble sort, or tell me the logic for the bubble sort, or write the program for insertion sort. Likewise, technical interviews will be technical interviewer will ask to you what is the exactly logic over there. So you need to explain the logic over there. So here the logic of bubble sort is that, so in the first iteration of the loop, say for example, this is an array starting from 0 index to index 4. 5 elements are there: 45, 33, 55, 22, 11. So here at the end, what is our expectation? Our result should be in the sorted one. So this is unsorted array. So the numbers are placed randomly. But sorted array, what we will require? So we will require the number to be in the ascending order: 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. Likewise. So what is the logic over here for the bubble sort? So the logic is that, so the first location, that is the 0th location, I will consider A array as a name. I will consider the 0th location, A of 0, value is 44. It is compared with A of 1. If A of 0 location is greater and A of 1 is smaller, or alternatively you can say A of 1 is smaller than the A of 0. So in that case, a swapping of up values will be done. Here you need to apply the logic of swapping. Okay, one more small program will become over here, swapping of the two numbers. So you just remember this program also. So you first prepare, go through the swapping of the two numbers program, then only you can apply here in the bubble sort. Okay, and the bubble sort can be applied in the binary search likewise. So here the swapping will be done. Swapping will be done means the first location value 33 will come in the 0th position, and the 0th position value will come into the this location. So here you can check the 33 will come at the 0th position. Here 44 will come in the A of 0, A of 1 position. Now for the second step in the iteration 1, it will check A of 1 and A of 2. So 44 and 55. 55 is already greater than 44. So for that purpose, no change in the location values. So that will be same. 44 same, 55 same. For the iteration 1, third step, it is going to check, compare with the A of 2, compare with the A of 3. So A of 2 is 55, which is a larger, and A of 22, which is a smaller. So here the interchange will be taken place. If the next number is smaller than the previous number, the interchange has to be occur. So for that purpose, here the 22 will be come at the place of A of 2, and the 55 will come here. And the last iteration, last step of the first iteration, the A of 3, A of 4 will be computed, 55 and compare with the 11, and whatever the values will be there, so that will be interchange over here. So here at the end of the first iteration, what you will get? So at the end of the first iteration, so this will be the resulting array. So largest number will be at the end. 55 is the largest among all these numbers, so that will be put at the end. Okay. For the second iteration, so again starting from 0th location compare with the first location, 33 compare with the 44, no change. The next iteration 1 with compare with the 2. So here 44 is greater and 22 is smaller. Ahead number is smaller. For that purpose, interchange will be occurred. So 22 will come here and 44 will come here. For the next step, 2 is compared with the 3. So 44 compared with the 11, interchange will be occur. So at the end of second iteration, so you will get the second largest number at the second position from the last. So likewise, this is a resultant array, and that will be given for the third iteration. So again, the third iteration start with the 0th location compare with the first location. Interchange will be occur as the 22 is smaller over here. The next 1 and 2 will be compared. 33 is greater, so interchange will be occur as 11 is smaller. So after the third iteration, you are having this resultant array. So third largest from the bottom will be put at the third step and the bottom. And here in the fourth iteration, so 0th and 1 will be compared, and 22 is interchanged with the 11 likewise. So every time in each iteration, remember the largest most number of that number will be put at the end. And once we finalize it as a largest number, so we are not changing, we are not considering in the iterations also. Okay, likewise here up to 5 elements consider. After finalizing 55, here we are considering only first 4, then next we are considering first 3, and then next we are considering 2. Likewise we are finalizing the result. So this is what the logic of the bubble sort. So you can write the program for that, and you can put as an assignment over. So for this, so you will require the logic of swapping. Okay, swapping logic. So here you can use the temporary is equals to first number, and then next first equals to second, and after that second is equals to over here for making the swapping. And once you do the swapping, that logic you can put into the bubble sort, okay, over the array. So in the array you need to apply the for loop. First for loop required for adding all the elements in the array. Second for loop that will be required to access all the element. Okay, one for scanf, one for accessing. Okay. And for this program, sorted array, if you want to print, one more time, third for loop will be required. For loop for printing. One for scanf, one for accessing, and one for your printing. So in this way, 3 for loops will be required to you. So this is what about your bubble sort logic. So you can use it. Just hold a minute. Okay, next point is last point in today's discussion, pass arrays to a function. Okay, pass arrays to a function. So first I will cover this point, and later I will tell you the logic for the 2-dimensional array, matrix addition, subtraction, multiplication, that I can give it to you. Okay, let me finish so that every entire theory should be covered first. So program we can get anywhere. Okay. Pass array to a function. So basically in the 1-dimensional array and 2-dimensional array, we are passing the arrays to a function. So in the previous session you learned the function. So very first thing is that, so pass the individual elements to array. So this is one concept, and passing the entire array to the function, that is the second concept. So the two concepts you need to combine over here. So the first concept, you should consider individual array elements. Say for example, I have written array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is individual element? 1 is individual element. 2, 3, 4, 5. All these are your individual elements, and we are passing it separately. So we will check the program for that first. So consider here. So this is a display function. Okay. So program execution also starts from main function. So here in the main function we have defined one integer type array. Name of the array is age array. Here we have initialized the array with the 4 values. And the 4 values are 2, 8, 4, 12. Okay. And here we are passing in the display function as an argument. What we are passing? Age array. Inside the subscript value we are putting 1. age array 2 means only two values we are passing. So age array 1, what is that value? Age array value is 8 and age array value 2 is 4. Only these two parameters we are passing. We are not passing the entire array. We are not passing 2, 8, 4, 12. All four elements we are not passing. Instead of that, what we are passing? Only the element present at age array 1, age array 2. 8 and 4. Only these two values we pass to the display function. Here age 1, this is one integer value. So 8 will be copied into age 1. So 4 will be copied into age 2 and both will be printed. So A1 and H2 both will be printed by using this percentage D in printf. So you will get the output as 8 and 4. So this is the first way passing individual, okay, individual array elements. So this can be your method 1, okay. Second method, now here just check. So we pass arrays. What we are doing? We are passing array to a function. Okay, here entire array will be passed out. How it is going to pass? Just check out. This is a program. So program execution always starts from the main. So we have declared the float. Variables we have defined. One variable is result. One array we have defined name as num. Here empty bracket but initialize. So here we have put all these values, floating values we have put. So even though you have declared it as an integer, it will be considered as a float as you are declaring it as a float data type. Okay. So here what we are doing here, result equals to, so here we are calling the function. Which function we are calling? Calculate sum. This is the name of the function and we are passing the num. Okay. So what is num? Num is nothing but your entire array. All of you getting? What we are passing? Entire array. Clear? So once the function call will be done, so control will be transferred to the function. Okay. So here num will be stored. Okay. It will be copied into the num array. Again, we need to declare the data type of it. So float type we have defined over here. Float num. So this is a newly array created. So we are creating one more variable sum. So here we are assigning the starting value 0.0 and data type of float by using the for loop. Again starting from index 0 up to 5. How the 5 can be accessed? By writing the condition I less than 6, because we are having how many numbers? Sorry, 6 numbers we are having. For that purpose we are writing the condition I less than 6, or we can write I less than equals to 5, 0 to 5 or 0 to 5. That can be accessed by both the ways. So here what will happen here? Num of I means initially num of 0. So what is that value, num of 0 value? So it is 23.4. Okay. So that value will be first taken. So that will be added over here. So what is this sum plus equals to? Can anyone able to explain me?
Sir,
Sum plus equals to?
Sum is equal to sum plus num.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Sum is equals to sum plus the array value. Array value is always updating by incrementing the I value. So first 23.4 will be taken in the consideration. So after that num of I value will be get increased. I will become 1. After that I will become 1. Next value that will be add up into the sum. Okay. Now sum will be what? Sum is equals to 23.4 plus 55.0. Okay. So that will be put into the sum. Next, for the next iteration, I will become 2. Okay, whatever the result of the previous sum, 23 plus 55.0. Okay, so here that will be calculated as sum is equals to. Okay, I just hold a minute. I will calculate it. It will be 23.4 plus 55. It is 78.4. So sum is equals to 78.4. So here it will be calculating sum is equals to 78.4 plus 22.6. That will be added over here. Okay, plus 22.6. That is 101. 101. Equals to 101. Okay, now for the next iteration, I will become 3. Sum is calculated now 101 plus the next element, that is 3 plus 3 equals to 104. Okay, next iteration, I equals to 4, condition is true. For that purpose, now sum will be calculated as 104 plus next element in the array because we are incrementing the I. So num of I will be going to the next location plus 40.5. So it is plus 40.5. It will be 141.5. Okay, 141.5. 141.5 that will be taken. Next time I equals to 5. Again condition will become true. So it will go to the last value. Sum equals to 141.5 plus what is the last value? 18 plus 18. So it will be 159.5. 159.5. So that will be considered over here. So here the last sum value is 159.5. So after that I will become 6. Once the I will become 6, the condition becomes false over here. 6 less than 6. This condition becomes false and it will not enter into the for loop. Simply it will come out of the loop. And here, before the closing of your function, what is going to be returned? Okay, so here we are returning the value of sum. What we are returning? Sum. So where it is returned? So where from it is being called? Here it is being called. Okay, so value of this entire will be 159.5. So that will be assigned to your results. Okay, 159.5 will be assigned to the result. And with this you are going to print the result. So 0.2f, that concept already been explained to you. So two digits after the decimal point that will be given to you. Sorry, somewhere I have done mistake in the calculation. So result is 162.5. So just check out once. I have done mistake, I think. Okay, this is the addition of all these one. This is the way. Understood? So here the thing you need to understand. So this is the method 2. Okay, which is method 2? This one. This is second method. Understood? What is the first method? We are passing the individual array elements. So this is first method. Clear? Pass an individual method. Second method is what? Here individually we are passing the separate array element by their indexes. And the second method, we are passing the entire array to a function. This is what? Here your num is array, and that array we are passing by its name. And how that will be accessed? In the function, we are writing the name of the array with the data type, and here we are using the for loop to access all the element of the particularly array, and by that we can have the particular processing over here. Clear? This is what the thing. And the third thing is related to the passing to a multi-dimensional array. So how to pass the array in a two-dimensional array to a function. So here the method for passing the two-dimensional array. So here, if we start integer main, this is the starting point. From where your program execution will start. Integer 2 comma 2. So row 2, column 2. 4 elements will be there. 2 into 2, 4 elements will be there. 2 rows, 2 columns. So here it will ask you for entering the value. Enter the 4 numbers. Okay. Always remember that. So when we plot the matrix, okay. So when we plot the matrix, always remember, so whatever the dimension given, so according to that, so number of rows and columns will be generated, values will be put over here. So value will be so row 0, then next it is column, row 0, row 1, column 0, column 1, likewise. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. So always remember that. So when we go with the two-dimensional matrix, always be careful. So consecutively may be using the 2 for loops. We are consecutively using the 2 for loops. Here I and j, 2 variables will be required. So always remember, I is going to access your row. Okay, it is going to access your row, and j, it is going to access your column. Okay, so it is going to access your column j. So how the operation will be work, keep this mind. So here for one row, all the columns will be get completed. So when we start with the 0th row, so column 0 and column 1 will be get completed. When we start with when we finish with the first row, that is row 0, then only we will move to the next row. Okay, so here the iteration I will just tell you. Consider I value here. I when I value is equals to 0. So inside that, what should be covered? When I is equals to 0, it has to cover all the columns of 0th row. All of you getting? So for that purpose, under I is equals to 0, j is equals to 0 will be checked out, comma, j equals to 1 will be checked out, okay, comma, j equals to 2 will be checked out. But for this j equals to 2, this condition is going to be false. For that purpose, after completion of all the loop conditions, then it will go for the next iteration of I is equals to 1 now. Again, in the I is equals to 1, again it is going to check j is equals to 0, comma, j is equals to 1, comma, j is equals to 2. At j is equals to 2, condition become false. Next, When I is equals to 2 will be here, so here condition will be false, and here no further checking. Clear? So in this way, for each iteration, you just go with the concept that how the work will be search. Okay. So here I will just point out the marking. So starting from 0 through, it will cover up all row 0, column 0, row 0, column 1. Clear? Once it complete, what it will do? It will come to incrementation of the next row. Okay. Understood? And after that, it is going to complete this. Means I value will not be, say for example, I have considered rows as I. Suppose I have considered row as I and column as J. For all, for one I, all the J should be worked out. Once all J will be complete, then only it will go for incrementation of I. That's what we are doing here. So for the first loop, when I is equals to 0, it will check condition I is equals to 0 less than 2. When this condition is true, it will enter into the nested for loop. So here the nesting of for loop is used. And here I is equals to 0 check, I is equals to 1 check, I is equals to 2 up to 2 check. Then only it will come out of the loop and it will go with the incrementation of I. Okay, and every time we will fulfill the values over there into the multi-dimensional array, and we are using for displaying purpose. Okay, so likewise we have entered the 4 values 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 values will be used and the same values will be displayed to you on the screen. Okay, is it necessary to explain this entire program line by line? If you require, I will explain. Have you understood the concept? Why we have taken the 2 nested for loop? Understood? Just understood the concept. I will always referring to the rows. J is always referring to the column. So we are going row wise. We will finish first row all columns. Then only we will go to increment the row. In the second row, we are going to finish all the columns. Then only we will go to the next third row. Likewise, this strategy will be applied in the 2-dimensional array, in the matrix also. Clear? The concept is clear to you, or shall I explain this entire program repeat? Line by line. Shall I move further? Shall I move further?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is what the multi-dimensional array to a function. And here one more program that I want to show you related to the 2-dimensional array. So, and that is what remained out. Just a minute. Let me open the file. I'm compiling the file, just hold on. Okay, this is the program. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. So this is a program for matrix addition, subtraction, multiplication. So you need to do this particular program, and I will just tell you the logic how to do that. Okay, if you closely observe, this is a program. So now I am compiling this. So errors and warnings are 0. Now I will run the program. Input, enter the values for rows and columns. How many rows you want, how many columns you want. Okay, suppose I want the 2 rows and 2 columns. So 2 rows, 2 columns. I will press enter. Enter the values of matrix A. Okay, first matrix A, I will enter values 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter the values for matrix B. 5, 6, 7, 8. So output will be likewise. Addition will be this, subtraction will be this, multiplication will be this. If you cross check with the addition, 1 plus 5, 6, 2 plus 6, 8, 3 plus 7, 10, 4 plus 8, 12. Okay. For subtraction, 1 minus 5, minus 4, 2 minus 6, minus 4, 3 minus 7, minus 4, 4 minus 8, minus 4. And you can apply the logic for multiplication over here. So you will get these results. Okay. So this is what the output. So here you need to write the program. So one soft copy of program you should upload, and such kind of a screenshot, whatever the output you want to get, or you just once you generate the screenshot screen. So here you have the option. When you click on the title bar, right click over here, edit. You can go with the select all. After that, again click on that one, edit. Here you can paste the copy. You can put into the file, and you can upload that file also. Or you can take the screenshot. If the screenshot is not possible, then you can go with this second method. Okay. So both the files you should upload it. So the logic over here, I will just tell you. First, do the initialization of the 3 matrix. Okay. So actually 4 matrix we will be requiring. First, A matrix, A 2-dimensional array, A array 2020 is the size, 20 rows, 20 columns, XGBoost maximum we have defined. Then B matrix, B array, 2-dimensional array we have defined. Then add, this is one more resulting array. So where the result should be kept for the addition. For the subtraction, we have created one more array, sub 2020 size. Then next MUL multiplication 2020 size. So by using the printf statement, you can print the enter the values of rows. So here you are getting this rows and columns. Okay, actually the name written here like alternatively. So here rows and columns you can get it, the values. So you can assign the values to the 2 variables. After that you can enter the values. So again here you are using the nested for loop. one I is for row and here J is for column. Clear? So here mistakenly C is considered as row and R is considered as column. So don't get confused over here. This is somewhat program. Only the thing is that for the row you should write the condition rows, condition up to row, and for the column you should write the condition up to columns. That's what is required. And using these nested for loop you can access the element using the scanf. So all the elements will be get scanned out. So here you can copy for the same code for the taking the input for the second matrix. Only the thing is that you should change the name of the matrix, and here instead of A you should have the B of ij, so that it will be stored into the second matrix, B matrix. Further that you are applying the logic of addition and subtraction. Likewise here you have found A of ij is equals to A of ij plus B of ij, subtraction of ij is equals to A of ij minus B of ij in the for loop. So you are going to work. So here again the nesting of for loop will be required. So where it will be requiring nesting of for loop? At the time of taking input for the A matrix, at the time of taking input for the B matrix, at the time of performing addition subtraction, and again at the time of performing the multiplication, and at the time of printing. Again for printing, for addition, subtraction, multiplication, 3 times nesting will be required. So this nesting will be required for addition purpose, this nesting for subtraction purpose, this nesting for your multiplication printing purpose. Okay. So likewise you are having the matrix program. Okay. So definitely I will share this program. So you try to upload your own creativity. Okay. So far we have conducted the session. I will just share the contents one more time. Okay. So just check out the highlighted content. So we have covered the basics of array. We have covered the array declaration. We have covered array initialization. We have covered the types of array, one-dimensional, two-dimensional array. We have covered the linear search in the afternoon session, character array and strings in the morning session, and the passing array to a function in the afternoon session. Okay. And we have seen the different problems on the array. So various programs that we have seen with related to every concept, I think so far. So there are lots of contents available on the internet. You can solve practicing multiple choice questions on the C. Lots of thousands of questions are available on multiple websites. You just search MCQs on the C programming. Okay, for every topic you are having the thousands of questions on variety of so as you go with solving yourself, your logic will be growing up. Okay, it is not possible to cover up each and every MCQ within a classroom. So it is your moral responsibility to gain a knowledge, and you should enhance your skill. Okay, so definitely this will be very important. Some companies likewise Persistence, Infosys, they are compulsory taking the technical aptitude on C programming. Okay, so persistent test is purely on the C programming. So you need to solve all the C programming questions. That's what required. So do you feel any problem in any topic, or the topic which you have not understood that need to be revised? You just unmute and you can tell. So I revise the content. I hope all these points understood to you. There might be some time limitations we have got, and for that purpose we might be missed out with the extra, what can say, the multiple choice questions. Okay, and one more important program related to each of the technique have already been taken. So your suggestions are welcome. So you can use the chat box, you can use the Moodle discussion forum. So I will create the discussion forum in the Moodle. So if you have any discussion related to that, so you can add up over there. Okay, I have created the discussion forum. If you have feels any questions related to that, so you can post on the Moodle also. Okay, your responses, reply, post any queries, suggestions. So that way is created on the Moodle, so you can use it. Okay, you can reply to that also, discussion forums. Okay, I hope you are familiar with C++. They're already been told to you. Any point that you have not understood?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Like, sir, two-dimensional, there may be three-dimensional array also, no, sir?
Yes, yes. There is a three-dimensional array also, but that is not included in the syllabus. That is what I have not covered here. So actually, three-dimensional is that you have generally the three square brackets. Okay, say for example, a of 2, 3, 2. So just 1 minute, I will share the screen. So there will be a particularly three-dimensional array. How to declare the three-dimensional array? Integer a, say for example, here I have written 2, 3, sorry, not comma, square bracket, 4. Okay, so this is what it means. It means you have 2, I will write downside 2. This is number of arrays, is number of rows in each array. 4, this is number of columns in array. Means simply you can say here you are having the array of 3 by 4. Okay, means totally 12 elements and in one array. All of you getting? And here, how many arrays will be present here? So two arrays present. Two arrays of 3 by 4. All of you getting meaning of that? So two arrays of size 3 by 4. This is what the three-dimensional array is about. Understood?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Yes.
And there will be two arrays.
There will be two arrays. And further will be the two dimensions, rows and columns.
And like in four dimensional
Suppose-
array, there will be
there will be the same thing. Here you are going with the multiplicity, number of arrays. So basically we are going with the three-dimensional because after that there will be much more complexity and the number of for loops and programming will be going to be complicated. Okay, so three dimensions are more sufficient one. Suppose here I have written the 5, 5, 3, 4. What it means? 5 array of the size 3 by 4. 3 rows, 4 columns in each of the array, starting from array index 0 to array index 4. Okay. I hope you have enjoyed the session. I have used the multiple choice questions on the Google Forms. I have used polling on the Poll Elsewhere. I have used the Flash content representation, a visualization concept for linear search that you have might been understood. I hope all the points, whatever I have taught to you today, all will be understood to you. If you are having any doubts, you are feel free to ask the question by Moodle discussion forums, or you can put into the WhatsApp group, or you can personally contact by asking me. Okay. So thanks to all. Now I end up with the session. Okay.